Well, I can hear you. Can you log back in?
Yes, let me do that. I can hear you, but I can't see anything.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to spend about the next 30 minutes going over the protocol for... Okay, hi Renee. I got your email message. You need to log in via your computer, and then I'll have your name on my list, I hope. As long as you can hear me, that's fine. Anyway, so we're going to spend the next 30 minutes or so just going over the protocol of what happens in the Cost Plus World Market when you go in there to do a demo. Now, you know, as you guys know, every chain's a little bit different. And so we've got Kathy DiPietro here to tell us. She's one of the best wine stewards at Cost Plus World Market. She really is her standards are very high. So I asked her to come on here online and tell us about what she likes to have happen in her store so that we can meet her standards, okay? I'm just going to go over the first slide, and then I'm going to let her take over. So I've got people coming and going. Al has come and Veronica has left, and I'm sure that she didn't leave on purpose. So, but let's just keep going.
Okay, this is Hollis. I've lost the screen, so I'm trying to come back in.
Okay, you guys, we'll give everybody a minute. Come back in.
I can hear you though. I can hear you though.
See, Veronica's back.
Is that Martinez?
Well, I can hear you, but I've lost the screen as well.
Okay, guys, log back in.
It won't let me. It says I'm already in.
Okay, Diana,
Yeah.
I had the same problem a minute ago. If they will drop all their other screens, then your screen will be the last screen on their screen. Does that make sense?
Okay, yeah. You guys make sure you close out everything else except the presentation.
Okay, Diana, can you hear me?
Yes?
Al Martinez.
Hi, Al.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
I was going to use my phone, but it said there were no callers, so I rushed to the computer. It's better this way. Anyway, what can I say? You know, you have to roll with the punches.
Hey, it's important to be able to see what we're talking about, okay?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so everybody just tell me when you're back online on the screen, okay?
I'm on the screen.
Can anybody not see the screen?
Okay, I can't. I'm on this is Hollis Jordan. Should I raise my hand?
Go ahead, Hollis.
Raise my hand? Okay, I've got the joining training, launch successful, and then it's just staying on that screen.
Okay, well, minimize that.
Okay.
Or close it.
Ah!
There you go. Ta-da! Okay.
Fabulous. That's why they pay you the big bucks. What?
Okay, so now what we're looking at here is we're looking at basically these are the 5 different channels that are involved in the alcoholic beverage industry. We've got the supplier, we've got the wholesaler, we've got the retailer, the brand builder, and the consumer. Okay? The supplier is the one that we work for. And then in between us and the supplier are these other 2 channels. The wholesaler, which is the guys with the delivery trucks and the salespeople and all that. And then we've got the retailer, which is Kathy, okay? And then we've got the brand builder. And the people that come in contact most with the consumer are the brand builders and the retailers, okay? So your role in this process is very, very important. As far as people are concerned when they come into a store, whether it's a grocery store or a world market, when they come in there, they do not realize that you don't work for Cost Plus World Market, okay? So it's really important for Kathy to be able
I'm on training, but I don't think they can hear me.
to make sure, minimize anything else that you have open on your computer. So it's real important for Kathy to be able to get the best people in there because as far as the public's concerned, you guys are working for her. Okay? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And you of all these people have the most influence over whether that consumer is going to decide to buy that wine and take it home with them. So I think that because you're the face-to-face person dealing with the person that's buying the product, your role is probably the most important of all of these different channels, okay? But it takes everybody to get a bottle of wine to the shelf, but you're the one that's going to have the biggest influence as to whether that person actually buys it and takes it home. And that's really my part of the presentation. What I'm going to do right now is turn it over to Kathy and let her do the talking so that she can tell you from her point of view what a successful event is all about, okay? Kathy, are you with me?
I am.
Okay, you're going to have to speak up so everybody can hear you. Here we go.
Okay, can you guys hear me good?
Yes.
I hear you, but I do not have a screen.
You guys, in order to see you're in the session, so the information is there, but you
I see
need
it.
to close out anything else that may be on your computer right now.
Everything, and I came back and it says I'm already in the session. It doesn't do anything.
Minimize what is on your screen now. Do you know how to do that?
Yes.
Okay, minimize your view.
Okay.
Now you should see World Market, Cost Plus World Market there.
I don't.
Okay, well let's move ahead. Just take some notes,
Okay.
and maybe we can get it back to you at a later time during the recording, and you can catch up with it, okay? If you're a good listener, you won't miss anything. Okay.
Okay, Diana, can you get back to the second screen?
You want to go back to that first thing? Okay.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Your market. Okay. All right, awesome. I'm glad that we're going to start with this slide. I wanted you all to take a good look at it and especially look at where you are in the picture. And as Diana explained, you're standing between the supplier, the distributor, the retailer, the customer. And I just want to make sure that you know what's expected of you. I can't talk about other retailers. I can only talk from my perspective. But in World Market, and my store in particular, we're a real high volume store. We're the #1 store in Cost Plus in terms of beverage sales. We do a lot of business. We have a lot of customers. And as Diana said, yes, I do have very high expectations. And probably the reason why Diana and I have a relationship, such as we do, is because I have had my store that I contacted her after and say, I don't want to see that person in my store again. So, and that's probably why I'm on the call with you guys. She knows. So I want to just make sure that you can live up to the expectations that I and other wine directors or wine stewards have. So if we can go to the next slide, Diana. Okay, expectations. Ultimately, we're trying to drive sales for the entire store, particularly in beverage. We do want to provide a fun and informative tasting and shopping experience for my customers. And professionally, what you need to do is represent everyone responsible for you being in the store that day. Our customers, the tastings are a fun, no-pressure opportunity to try before they buy. And we like to emphasize fun in our store. We want our customers to enjoy their World Market experience. We're a fun, funky, eclectic type of store, lots of different types of products. You can buy everything from ginger snap cookies to an entire house full of furniture or a bottle of wine that you're going to enjoy that night. So we offer a little bit of everything. We have all different types of consumers. It's not like you're doing a presentation or a tasting or a demo in a liquor store and everybody is in there specifically for alcoholic beverages. You're going to get people who come in front of you who are only in there to buy a bath towel, and they saw a wine tasting and they want to participate in it. But whatever our customers' needs are, we want them to have fun while they're shopping with us. And to that end, we try to hire team members who project our philosophy and our company culture to our customers. But occasionally, as Diana said, We have people in our store that we did not hire and who are not aware of what our company culture is like. And, for instance, that would be you guys when you come in to do your demos. But when you're in the store, or my store, or any store, the customer isn't aware, as Diana said, that you don't work for us. As far as they're concerned, you represent World Market or whatever real retailer that they're shopping at. So it's imperative that you function as part of the retailer's team for those 3.5 hours that you are in the building. So that means being a team player and promoting the philosophy and agenda of the retailer, as well as the agenda that Brand Builders has. In fact, in that slide that we just saw, you're representing first the retailer, secondly the winery whose product you're pouring, also representing the distributor or wholesaler that booked the tasting, fourthly your employer, Diana, and finally you're representing yourself. So there's a lot riding on your actions that half hours when you're tasting in store, particularly or in my store. And if you're up to it. So let's go to the next slide, Diana.
Okay, can I interrupt for just a second here? You guys, please take a moment and everybody mute yourselves. That way we don't have any background noise. And when you're ready to say something or ask a question, then you can unmute yourself, and then we're not going to hear the dogs in the background or the, whatever noises that may be coming from your location, okay? So everybody please mute yourself, not you, Kathy. and then we're going to go to the next slide, okay? Okay, thank you.
All right. So confirmations. To me, this is the very beginning. The confirmation call to the retailer. I would assume that you're all doing this, that Diana has instilled in you the absolute need to make contact with the retailer prior to showing up in the store. So this call that you make will set the tone for your entire experience with that retailer and will let the retailer know if you're someone that they can depend upon or if you're someone that's going to need to be monitored during the tasting event. When you make the call, ask for the wine manager, wine steward, director, etc. Just don't just speak to anyone who answers the phone. Be prepared with all the details. I love it when I get a call, and this happens all the time. I get a call, and the contractor will say, "Hi, I'm the person doing your tasting this Saturday. I'll see you then." And in their minds, they've confirmed the tasting, but to me, that's not a confirmation. Perhaps I have 6 or 7 tasting companies booked for that Saturday, and some of them are at different times. So how is what was said by that contractor a confirmation to me of anything? I need, as a retailer and as a person that you're coming in contact with that day, I need concrete details. This is my version of how an ideal confirmation call would go. So I'm calling to confirm a tasting for this weekend. May I speak with the beverage manager, please? Then they'll put you on hold. They'll page me. And then I would expect to get something like this. Hi, my name is Kathy. I'm with Brand Builders, and I'm scheduled to do a tasting this Saturday, October 15th, in your store from 1 to 3. I'm going to be pouring the Bogle, Chardonnay, Petite Syrah, and the Old Vine Zin. What supplies will I need to bring with me to your store, and when and where shall I check it? Now, those 2 sentences have complete details, and it was fairly concise. In the first sentence, you let me know that you're a professional. You had all the information. In the second sentence, you have given me the opportunity to let you know what you will need to bring with you to my store. Every store is different. I appreciate that you have asked what my needs are, and you've allowed me to give you details that will help you to be successful in your tasting and start out on the right foot with me or with any other retailer. Please, please, please do not shoot yourself in the foot with this important call by not having information with you at hand. Invariably, I'll get the first version of that call. Hi, I'm doing a tasting Saturday. See you then. But I will interject quickly before they hang up. Who are you with and what wines are you pouring? And then also invariably I'll get, oh, I'm with blah, blah, blah. And I'm going to pour, let me see if I can remember, where's my list? Maybe it's in my car, maybe it's in my purse, maybe it's in my email, and I don't have it in front of me. So in the meantime, I'm busy. I'm being pulled away from customers because you're not prepared. and I already have a bad taste in my mouth and a bad feeling about you before you've even stepped foot in my store. So have the common sense and common courtesy to be prepared when you call, and give me the information that you need to be providing me with. I need to know who you are, who you're with, what time you're coming. I also need to know that you know how to pronounce the name of the wines that you are pouring. I cannot tell you how many times I get I'm pouring the whatever Merlot and the Bordeaux or Bordeaux, because people cannot pronounce Bordeaux. So how you handle yourself on that confirmation call tells me so much about you, and tells me again whether I can depend upon you, whether you're going to be flying solo, or whether I'm going to have to be standing over your shoulder and checking in on you all the time. So the next slide, please. Unless anybody has any questions. You want to do questions now or as we're going along, Diana?
We can take questions, you guys. Just remember to unmute yourself if you have a question. Anybody have any questions to this point? No? Okay, let's keep going.
Okay. All right. Supplies. Since you all are being paid to do what you do, that makes you a professional. And as a professional, I would expect that you would be able to, that you would be coming with, as I call them, the tools of your trade. So at the least, you need to have a wine opener. My store will not provide you with cups. I mean, if you come without cups and it's a busy day, and I will graciously provide cups for you, but if I have 7 or 8 tasting companies there, no way am I going to give tasting cups to everyone. I certainly don't have ice or an ice bucket for 7 or 8 different tasting companies and different stations. Like I said, these are the tools of your trade. I don't plan on, and I am not happy to provide you with cups and ice and buckets and wine openers. You should be coming with those. You should also be bringing with you your tasting information and sell sheets. Hopefully you've done some research on your wines. I will not have that information for you. I don't know what Diana provides for you specifically, or you take it upon yourself to look up and research information on the wines that you will be pouring or presenting that day. I also expect you to bring with you knowledge, not only knowledge about the wine, but wine in general. People are going to have questions. So let's see. Like I said, as far as I'm concerned, these are the tools of your trade. I used to do wine tastings, and I would never, ever dream of asking, going into a retailer and say to them, hey, do you have some ice or an ice bucket? Do you have any cups? I left mine at home, you know. That's not professional. You should come in, you should be ready to hit the ground running and begin your pouring. Have everything that you need with you. Because when I have to scramble to look for these things, I'm taking time away from my customers, my own pouring station, because often we are required to do store pours as well as having the other tasting companies in. And I have my own employees to manage. So when we have the confirmation call, I will let you know that we will provide a table, a trash can, and if you are pouring any white wine or sparkling wine, I will also let you know that I will have 2 chilled bottles of whatever you're pouring if it needs to be chilled. I will, during the confirmation call, let you know that I have 6 other companies pouring that day, if that's the case, and it's going to be crowded, and my parking lot is difficult, and you will have to arrive early and take care of your wine, get in line, purchase it, come to me, sign the receipt, all of that kind of thing. I want you to be successful. If you're successful in my store, then that means that we have sold wine, our customers have had a great time, and we're all winners. But if you come and you're not prepared and then things go poorly from that point on, it's not going to be a successful tasting, not in my mind and not in your mind. Again, the last item on the list is knowledge. Please bring with you all the information that you need to speak intelligently about the product that you're pouring. If a customer asks you where in California the wine's produced, please know whether it's Napa, Sonoma, or Lodi, and please know how to pronounce Lodi. It is not Lodi, and I've had that from tasters before. So just take a few minutes to look up the wines that you're going to be pouring for your retailer and get basic information that will help you describe the wine in a way that my customers will be able to understand.
All of our brand builders, Kathy, get resource links with sales sheets and or the website link and or PowerPoint presentations on the brand. So there's no reason whatsoever why anybody working for our company should be coming into your store without 10 to 15 or more talking points about the wines that they're pouring. Okay?
Okay, awesome. Okay, so check-in. What I would expect from you at check-in. Hopefully during the confirmation call you have asked the question, very important, when and where will I check in? This will allow me to let you know that you need to be there early, that, as I said before, the parking lot is crowded. When you ask that question, the retailer can provide you with whatever specifics you will need to know about their particular store. My store happens to be in a very crowded shopping center surrounded by tons of restaurants, and at 1 o'clock or at 12:30 on a Saturday afternoon, parking is at a premium. Sometimes you might have to park a half a block away down in front of another shopping center to get to us. So let's see. Come to the beverage department or the wine department. You need to introduce yourself. Tell me who you are, what your company is, what you're going to be pouring. You will also be paying for your wines, so that means you're going to have to get one of each. Go up, get in line. Often we schedule these tastings on days when we are busy. We hope we're going to be busy. And you might have to wait in line, you know, just like a regular customer. So if you come strolling in at 5 minutes till 1 and your session begins at 1, there's no way you're going to be ready until at least 15 minutes later. You've got to get your product, get in line, pay for it, come back, find me again, have me sign your paperwork or sign your receipt, and then after that I will take you to your station and then provide you with whatever wines, if necessary, that we have chilled out for you ahead of time. So I will do my best to meet your needs, but my customers do come first, and you might have to wait a minute or two to get my full attention, especially if we're dealing with a grand tasting like we're going to have this weekend at all the World Market stores across the country. We will all have at least 5 other tasting companies there. In my store we will have 8, as well as our own store pour. So we will be, we're going to be running on empty there. If you happen to see the wines that when you come in and I am busy and you cannot get my attention, if you happen to see your station, you recognize the wines that you're going to be pouring, take initiative, grab a bottle of each of them, and get in line to pay for them. This will be a big help if I'm dealing with another tasting company or a customer. Anything that you can do to be proactive, get your stuff, get set up, is fine. That's very helpful for us. So speaking of setup, that's our next slide. Okay. The first thing that I have down there is we have chosen a spot for you based upon the flow of traffic in the store and the space needs of the product or products that you will be pouring. I don't have it here in my notes, but please don't argue with me about where or another retailer about the placement of your table. They chose it for a specific reason. Usually some thought goes into it. We just don't throw tables around. We have no intent to put anyone in a poor location. We try to distribute the stations throughout the store, and particularly we want to put them in areas that people will seek out, and we want to drive traffic into those areas. For instance, it's our autumn, this grand tasting is our annual autumn grand tasting, and we have our harvest shop set up. So I'm going to put a station or two in that area. It might feel to you as though you're buried in the middle of the store and no one can see you, but you're there for a reason. People will seek you out, and in doing so, they will be taken into that area of the store that maybe we want to be driving some sales in. So also, we will have you set up. Your product is going to be displayed on the table. Extra product will be available nearby for you to refill. That's usually what I do. We're going to set everything up for you. You're going to have your trash can. We usually put balloons there and make our announcements and let people know, customers know to look for the balloons, to find a tasting station near you. Also, one thing that I forgot to mention is that in World Market, when we have these large tastings, we will often issue a passport, what we call a tasting passport, to the customers as they come in the store. And we will check their IDs when we issue the passport. So that allows you to know that they've already been vetted, so to speak. You certainly can feel free to ask for IDs of anyone that you feel is questionable of age, but please know that we have done that up at the beginning, and we've either stamped their passport, and then what they do is at World Market, we have our own corporate policy of not allowing any more than 10 samples. This weekend we're going to have about 45 different wines open for pouring, but the customer is only allowed to try 10 of those. And that's a decision that was made by our loss prevention people at corporate, and they feel anything over and above that would perhaps compromise us and put us in a position of being liable should anything happen to the customer after they leave. So we will often ask the customer to choose. Wander through the store, look and see, you know, what sounds interesting to them. So they will have to choose 10 out of those 45 wines that they would like to sample, which in some instances is going to be easy because not everyone wants to try a Riesling. And there are Riesling drinkers who will never, ever want to try a Cabernet. So it's not like you're depriving them. Ultimately, each person has their own palate. So when you're pouring at a World Market store and it's a day when we have a big tasting, a lot of stations, and we are using the customer passports, what we will ask you to do is check off one box or one circle on the passport for every sample that you pour. So for instance, if I'm a customer and I come up to your station and you're like, oh, you know, they'll say, what do you have open? And obviously you have everything open that's on the table. And just ask them what they would be interested in trying, or, you know, what type of a wine drinker are they, sweet or dry or whatever, however you normally start your interaction with them. But if you pour them a Riesling and a Moscato and a sparkling wine, then you will be responsible for marking 3 samples on their passport. And then they will take their passport and go to another station and maybe get another 2 or 3 samples. Once they hit 10, that's supposed to be it in terms of what we're allowed to serve them. So at World Market on a tasting, at a tasting where we are using the passports, we will ask you to check the passport first and make sure the person has not already had their 10 samples. Once they have reached their limit of 10 samples, you are no longer allowed to pour samples for them in our store. If you have a problem with that, or if the customer has a problem with that, please find a store team member, preferably the general manager or the beverage director, and we will be able to assist you with dealing with that customer. So anyway, interacting with the customers, fun, 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 fun. So obviously we want you to have a good time. You have a good time, the customer has a good time. If the customer is having a good time, the customer is purchasing wine, we hope. We want you to be friendly, to be knowledgeable. We do not want you to be a wine snob. You might know everything about wine in the world, but you don't have to, pardon me, vomit that information all over the customer each time that you're pouring a sample. We want you to be passionate about what you're pouring. Hopefully, as Diana said, you've done your research, you've got some interesting little facts, maybe a little story about the wine that you're producing or the wine area that the wine comes from. Those are all really good ways to interact with the customer. We will often display other products that we sell in the store, and they will be displayed on your table. You are not responsible for, nor do you need to sell these products. They are there as an opportunity product to bump up the basket And but chances are the customer might ask you a question about what is displayed on your table. If you know anything about the product, for instance, if it's a decanter, just share with them whatever you know about decanters in general, or wine stoppers in general, or chocolate in general. A lot of times we'll put chocolate out on the table. You don't have to know that particular brand of chocolate or whatever. You can just talk about how much you enjoy having dark chocolate with a red wine, or milk chocolate with a champagne, or white chocolate with a champagne. We're not asking you to be pairing experts or sales experts when it comes to product that you're not responsible for, but I can just assure you that if there is a wine opener on the table and it's there for purchase, that customer is going to ask you about it. So just share with them your general information. Remember, you are perceived as the expert. Customers will trust what you say. Do not mislead them, and don't be a wine snob. Wine is fun. So, next slide, checking out. So when it comes time for you to check out, make certain that you close down your station and remove all open bottles before you leave the station. Never leave open bottles unattended on your station. That's just a TABC thing. I believe it's a TABC regulation. If not, it's certainly not smart to leave open bottles there. Anybody can come along and pour their own samples, and at World Market, that is a huge no-no. I mean, I could get fired if I left my station and was pouring and stepped away, and I turned around and I see a customer bellied up to the bar pouring their own samples out of an open bottle that I left. I mean, I would be definitely asked to leave the store. So I don't want that to happen to you. So make sure that you never walk away from your station. When it's time for you at the end of your shift, secure all of your open bottles, put them under the table, put them in your basket or in your case or whatever you brought in with you. Then you need to come and find me. I will sign your paperwork. And if you ask me to, I can and will pull a sales report on what you sold during your time while you were working with us. Please don't argue with me about what your paperwork says you sold. My report shows what was rung up at the registers. After the tasting is over, you might think that you sold 3 cases of wine because you handed 36 bottles of wine to customers. But very often, and I know that you're aware of this as I am, very often after the tasting is over and the contractors have gone and it's just the store personnel in the store, we will find wine bottles scattered all over the store, stuffed in towels, stuffed in baskets. They didn't want to offend you by not taking the wine, and they wanted you to feel good about your little sales spiel, and very often we will find wine everywhere that they simply really didn't want to purchase. They didn't want to hurt your feelings. They were trying to be nice. So if your paperwork shows that you sold 36 and I show that you sold 22, please don't argue with me. The numbers are what the numbers are. If your paperwork contains a space for my comments or the wine manager's comments or a store representative's comments, I will write a note on my perception of your performance. Remember that this is my perception. If you don't like what I have written, please, again, do not argue with me about it, especially in front of my customers. There's a time and a place for everything, and a busy Saturday at the end of a huge tasting is not the place to have a discussion about that. So I think the next slide, Diana. Okay, in summary, these are the pleases. Please call to confirm, and we talked about how very, very important that first point of contact is with your retailer. Research your product. Diana assures me that you guys are on that already, so no worries. I didn't talk about it yet, but it is right here. Please get directions ahead of time. On that busy Saturday, dealing with all of those contractors and tasting stations, and my own employees and customers, I don't have time to get on the phone and walk you through what exit to take and how to get here and all of that. So please Google it, get a map, get all that ahead of time. Arrive early, come prepared with all your supplies like we talked about. Please dress professionally. Showing up in shorts or cutoffs and flip-flops will not fly. And if you come dressed like that, In my store, at least, I will ask you to go away and come back when you are professionally dressed. Unless we're, standing on the beach somewhere and you're pouring samples of pina coladas and margaritas or whatever, just dress professionally and appropriately. Professionally. Please respect my position. I do not work for you. And the reason why I put that in there is because I cannot tell you how many times I'll have contractors who are, I'm out of this, get me that, I need more stock. I would be happy to give you anything that you need, but please ask nicely. We're dealing with a lot of other people, a lot of customers. I respect you, and I expect that you would respect me as well. So on the other side, these are the do nots. Please do not come if you are ill. Please call ahead, call Diana, and find someone to replace you. I had a woman at a pouring, a contractor. She had just gotten out of the hospital, came directly to me. She was definitely on some kind of pain medication, and she had just gotten out of the hospital for a staph infection. And there she was, bandages everywhere, ready to pour wine for my customers. So needless to say, she did not last. Do not leave your station at any time during the tasting. Hopefully, you can hold it and won't have to go to the bathroom for the 3 hours that you're there on the floor. Do not leave your station. Do not leave your open bottles at any point in time. Do not text or talk on your phone during the tasting. If you want to take some photos, and I have this happen a lot, you want to take photos of your station as it's set up and all the little touches that you put in there, please do that. Do that at the beginning. Or if you want to take some pictures of the people around your table or something, that's fine, but do not text and do not talk on your telephone during the tasting. Do not shop while you are on My Time. That happens a lot. World Market is a fun place, and we have a lot of really great products. And I'll see contractors wandering away from their station, and they're coming back with candy bars and chocolate and all different kinds of things. So please do not shop while you are on My Time. Please do not talk down to my customers, my employees, or to me. As I said, you might know everything in the world about wine, but you don't have to plot that over everybody. We're not wine snobs. Also, this is a big bone of contention with me. Please do not solicit my employees to work for your company. This has happened. I have caught people doing this before. Please, that is a huge no-no. I will ask you to leave immediately and make sure that you do not get paid for your shift. So, I'm not a mean person, people. I'm just a person who has a job to do just like you do. So, anyway, this is that's the end of everything I wanted to share with you. So, what, if anything, would you like to ask?
Time for questions. Everybody unmute.
Kathy?
Yes.
Hi. I was just wondering, I know you were mentioning that there's only 10 tastings allowed. I know you said that there's going to be over 40 wines. Is there going to be somebody possibly, I don't want to use the word patrolling, but that's probably the only word I can think of, patrolling the area to make sure that nobody overdoes it?
Well, actually, I'm assuming that every one of you are TABC certified. Is that true, Diana?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
If that's true, then you know that certification was not about wine or beer information. It basically was teaching you how to tell when someone has been overserved. So you're going to be part of the patrol. That's part of, I'm assuming, Diana, that's also part of the process, right?
Yeah, and as you mentioned before, that's what the passport's for. If the passport, if you're using the passport, and at the grand tastings they're using these passports, look at it and do a quick glance, and if you see that there's 10 or so samplings that have already happened, just say, oh no, oh gosh, I'm so sorry, it looks like you've already had 10 tastings. You'll have to go talk to the beverage manager to see if I can give you a sample. And then let the beverage manager take care of it, because it's their customer, and you don't want to take the risk of offending their customer. Let them handle it for you, okay? Does that make sense?
On that,
Kathy?
Yes.
Good. Go ahead, Kathy. Finish what you were
Kathy, on
saying.
that.
Oh, okay. No, what I was going to start to say is if you think, as a contractor, if you think that a customer standing in front of you has been overserved, then reach out to me. Please do not interact with the customer. You can excuse yourself from the customer if you feel that you need to do that. I will try and hover around all the stations, as will the other wine managers in the other stores. Again, our store is a top store, huge volume, lots of customers. So, and I'm hoping and praying we're going to be full to the rafters on Saturday. But I will try to visit each station. I just kind of float from place to place. I look at the customers. I watch what you're doing. And we should not have a problem. In 6 years of me doing this, I have only had one customer that I've had to tell, I'm sorry, sir, I cannot serve you. And if the person has a problem with that, then that's when you say, excuse me, put your bottles away, leave your station, and come and find me. Hopefully that will not happen. Again, Diana said we're using the passports, and that should limit the immediately the number of samples that are given.
I have a question.
Okay.
Kathy,
Yes.
you said when you give the customer the passport, do you verbally tell them this passport is good for 10 tastings? They're going to be aware of that as the passport is given to them?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
There are 10 circles on there. A lot of
Okay.
times customers will think that there are 10 stations they get to visit, and each station gets checked off. But no, the person who is handing out the passports, and it will not be me, but it'll be a store team member. The person handing out the passports to the customers is responsible for letting them know that we will have 45 wines open and they can choose 10 samples.
Okay,
10
good.
samples.
I have a related question. This is Hollis. Hi, Kathy.
Hi.
Hi. Does every customer who walks in the store receive a passport, or if people walking into the store may not think they want to taste but decide when they're in the store that they do, some people may or some people may not have a passport?
Yes, and that does happen. A lot of times we'll set the passport station up at the front of the store, and when customers come in, we'll ask them, oh, we're doing a wine sampling today. Would you like to participate? If so, you need a passport. May I look at your ID? And a lot of times they'll think customers automatically just say no without even really listening to what you're talking about. They don't want to be bothered or whatever. So, and sometimes we'll just miss them, and they'll get into the store and they'll see the activity, and they'll show up, let's just say, Hollis, at your station, and, oh, I'd like to try that, Sterling Meritage. And you will ask them for their passport. Oh, I don't have a passport. What's that? And you'll say, oh, I can't serve you. I can't pour anything for you.
Okay.
So then you just point them back up to the front of the store where the passport station is.
Okay, so
please do
no
not do that.
serving, no passport, no servey.
Exactly.
Okay, gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Hi, Kathy. This is Corey Cannon. I have kind of a request for guidance. I know that most of the World Market stores do not have ice available, so that's
Right.
something I would like to mention to the brand builders, because most other retailers that we do tastings at do have ice available. So you would want to purchase, a bag of ice to bring with you. I know that some stores have the frozen kind of wrap packs that go on the bottles, but I would assume if it was a mass tasting that a brand builder could not count on those being available. So a brand builder would want to bring a bag of ice. And I've also had different stores that have offered to keep the remaining ice in their freezer in the employee break room. Do you have any guidance on that, or is that a standard, or would you prefer that we just take what ice we need and dispose of the rest before we enter the store, or how would you like
Okay.
at your particular store? How would you address that?
Okay, good. Thank you, Corey. Good question. Hopefully during your confirmation call, you have asked that very important question: what supplies do I need to bring with me to your store? And that gives me the opening to say, hey, I have no ice maker. You will have to bring your own ice and your own ice bucket if the wines that you are pouring for us on that day require chilling. Regarding leftover ice, we'll be happy to do something. I have a refrigerator I can put it in, but again, I don't really have a freezer. So we do have a freezer in the break room, but if you've ever been in my break room, you don't want your ice going in that freezer.
Yes, I have seen those. And also, guys, with World Market, what you might want to do is get for your kit, get one of those chillers that you can put in your freezer, and that you can. It's like a bag, but it's a freezer bag with that freezes that you can put your white wine in. I have one of those, and I keep it in my kit for when I need it, and I just I pop it in the freezer the day before I go out to do the demo. And that way, all I have to do is put that wine inside that little bag. I don't have to worry about stopping and getting ice and doing all that stuff. And, it works for 3 hours. And sometimes, sometimes it can get a little bit warm, but, as long as it's good for a majority of the tasting, you should be fine.
Thank you, Kathy.
Corey, if you're pouring at World Market Stores and they're giving you those little wine sleeves, as we call them, then they're a lot nicer than I am, because I won't do that. I won't do that.
Well, obviously, it wouldn't. Obviously,
Yeah.
you wouldn't expect it if it was a multiple tasting day. So.
Right. Yeah. No, I don't have 45 of those. I think I have 3 or 4 of them. So, and actually,
Yeah,
I
if
use
we
those.
could bring.
Yeah, I don't use those for my red wine or for my white wines necessarily. I like to use them sometimes to just put a tiny little chill on my Pinot Noir or something like that. But for the most part, yeah, no, I wouldn't expect that. So.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, one more question, Kathy. This is Veronica. There's been, for some reason, a shortage of the little cups around San Antonio. I just wanted to make sure you all have them so that I could get some when I come in on Saturday.
Well,
The tasting cups, because I usually get them from the liquor stores, and I've hit up a couple of liquor stores and HEBs, and even Costco doesn't have them right now. So I was just checking to see if you all were possibly going to have them in stock. If not, I could figure something else out.
Well, Kathy is not. She's not working at the San Antonio store. She's in DFW.
Okay.
So you'd have to call. But
Yeah.
this is what I do, guys. I don't want you to ask for cups to anybody ever. I want you to be.
I mean,
Yeah,
I buy them. I just want to make sure that they have them.
No, well, the way you do that is make sure that you have them, okay? Because even if, okay, so you can't find the small little plastic souffle cups. What you can do is go to your nearest drugstore and get the smallest 3-ounce, I think they're little white plastic solo cups. They're like 3 ounces. Get
Like
some of
that.
those until you can find them. And I got to tell you, the best place, although I don't want to refer you to go shop at Sam's, the best place that I've found to buy the cups is at Sam's Clubs by the case. If you don't have a membership, maybe you have a friend that has a membership or a family member, somebody like that, ask them to go in there, get you a case of that stuff. It's going to cost you anywhere between $20 to $27. I think 23 is the best price I've seen, and the highest price I've seen is 27. And that's going to give you 20 sleeves. And believe it or not, those 20 sleeves are going to last you a long time, because not every store that you go in will require that you use your own cups. A lot of them do supply cups, but you always want to have cups in your kit. And I myself have had to go, having run out, maybe I was doing a double that day, and I've had to go get those small little Dixie cups, which I don't really like to use, but I'd rather you use those than go in unprepared and not have anything. Okay?
Diana,
Yes?
on that note, on Sam's, even if you don't have a membership, if you'll just, I know we're not doing demos there, but
Right.
if you'll just show your badge, because it shows you as a demonstration person. They will let you go in, and if you're only purchasing 1 or 2 items, you can go to the service counter, and they will let you check out without a Sam's account.
Very good. Yeah,
I noticed that too, Diana, they have restaurant supply stores where you can go in and get the sleeve for like $4 or something.
yeah, and
But
that's
they're only open Monday through Friday.
yeah, and what you guys need to remember is if you're going to be doing this work a lot, you need to keep your expenses to a minimum. And I'm of the opinion if you spend $4 every time you go out to do a demo, that's pretty, that's a pretty healthy percentage when you look at it from a business point of view. And of course, it's all tax deductible and everything. And that's, you get to deduct all the expenses associated with supplies and education and books and your gas and your mileage and all that stuff. But if you're going to be doing this a lot, you really want to buy it in bulk. Okay. So I would urge you to do so. And even if you have a group of people, or you have a friend, like I know Veronica, you have friends that are working with us. Corey, you have a group of friends. Maybe you can buy that and share it amongst yourselves or something. I tell people it's basically comes out to $1.25 a sleeve. So if one of you wants to buy them and somebody and other people want to buy it from you, $1.25 is a big difference from $4. So just keep that in mind. Do whatever you have to do, and do it the way you want to do it. It's your choice. You're running your own program there, but I would urge you to really try to minimize those expenses as much as you can.
Diana,
Yes.
I go to party time, whatever it is.
Party World. Yeah.
Party World. You can get 100 for $3 and something. I like them a lot better than the souffle cups. But right now, if you go in for next day or so, they've got 25% off. So to me, it's a no-brainer.
So you get the small clear plastic white one, or the white plastic 3-ounce cups. Is that what you get?
Clear plastic.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't like the white plastic because I can't tell how much I've got in there.
Yeah. Okay.
Kathy?
Yes.
Diana, is Kathy still on?
Yeah, she said yes. You just couldn't hear her.
Okay, you may have to repeat because I can't hear her at all.
Okay.
I have a couple of questions. Being up here in West Texas in the smaller towns, does the World Market, do they still follow as far as the passport?
Yes. Hold on one sec.
Did she say yes?
Yeah, she said, hold on a second.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. I pulled off. Can you hear me better?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay. I just pulled off the headphones. Yes, that is a company, a corporate policy that when we have more than 10 wines open in the store for a sampling, we have to go to the passports. So
Okay.
they will have passports there. If they do not have passports there, then they're in direct violation of company policy. So.
Okay. And then my other question also, like I've done tastings for Diana at World Market here in Amarillo, but the store manager said she was not able to pull a sales report until like the following day. But are you saying that you can pull it that same day we're there?
Yep. So either they're giving you a line, or they might not know how to do it. It's called pulling a 28. So what happens is the someone who has a badge, and hopefully the beverage person would, you go up to the register, you scan, you go into a 28 mode, which is an item movement report, and then you just scan a bottle of everything that was poured at your station, and they pull up the numbers right then and there, how many have been sold.
Okay.
That will
Well,
it will actually show you what has been sold for the entire day, so not just during your 3-hour gig, but for the entire day.
So if somebody wants to get their numbers right away, it would be really helpful for them to make sure that they take a bottle of what it is that they sampled to the register, so that they don't have to go back and get that.
And
Okay.
I would ask, the cashier will not be able to do it because they need to have a badge. So what you'll need to do is get with I would just get with the beverage person, the beverage department head, beverage manager, wine steward, whatever your, we call them beverage managers. So I would get with them and ask them if there's any way that you could pull that information. They could pull that information for you. And it's just called Running a 28.
Okay, thank you very much, Kathy.
You're welcome.
Any other questions?
No questions, but Kathy, this is Bill Jackson. I will see you Saturday, well before 12, and I look forward to working with you.
Oh, well, you lucky guy. Okay.
You're absolutely right.
I look forward to it too, Bill.
Well, Kathy, thank you so much. It'll be interesting to see how smoothly this one goes. We may have to have a little, you guys on your reports, let's just mention how, if this little session was helpful at all for you guys, if it went smoother. Kathy, you know, maybe you can make some observations, do the same thing. Whatever, I think it's a great idea and I'd like to do more of it, but now that we have the World Market session on tape, we'll make sure to put it in our library so that anybody from this day forward who's going out to do a tasting in a World Market will be able to listen to and access this recording. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Enjoy.
All right,
Thank
good
you
night.
very much.